Welcome to Manly Ego. And my name is Malcolm. I thank you for joining me. Let's get straight to it and talk about what is manly ego in the way I have laid out the pages, the way I want this account to come across to you. I'm early 40s. I feel like maybe I'm going through that midlife crisis they talk about, you hear about. But I guess until you're going through it, it doesn't mean much to you. I'm questioning, where I am in life, in way of relationships, in the way of my career, in the way of how I'm feeling in the morning, in the evening, at work. There's a lot of emotions caught up in all of this. And that's where I can talk about the first part of ego. Emotions, men. I don't want to say it's a taboo subject, but it's a subject where, if like me, you'll tread carefully when talking about your emotions, especially when it can leave you vulnerable. At work, and I won't disclose my work, but at work of late, I have been quite vocal and quite honest about how I feel. There's even been times where I've cried at work in front of colleagues where I feel I'm safe to, and also where I feel like I've had no choice to because I'm just going to burst if I don't release it in that moment. But it's the ego that has kind of had a bit of a meltdown that's made me release it in that way. I like to describe it as a balloon where it's been pumped up so much that it bursts. Think of it as a balloon with water in, and suddenly water's going to start leaking out here and there and there. You could patch up a part of the balloon and it will leak out somewhere else because we're not relieving that water pressure in a suitable way. And I'm feeling a lot of these emotions of late, and I'm talking about over the past few months. And the interesting thing is, I've gone sober for 11 months on the 16th of this month of July. And I've learned that emotions and feelings and hard times are always going to be something that we run into. But the reason I talk about going sober is because sometimes I would have, back in the day, I would have taken the edge off how I feel with a little drink here or a little drink there. And I'm sure many people can relate to that. And there's nothing wrong with it. But I stopped drinking and I feel like I'm dealing with everything head on. I have no armor. I have to deal with the pain and the feelings or however I feel in the situation. I have to understand them feelings, I have to manage them, and then continue. But it's been a prolonged time of where I'm still feeling not as positive as I'd like to feel. And I do feel it's affecting me in areas, it's affecting me at home where I live by myself. I do have my kids on my days off, but I live by myself. My work isn't coming across as enjoyable to me anymore. And I think that is down to the pressures at work, but also down to how I feel in general. My relationship is at an early stage with an amazing lady that I've met. But I'm worried that it's going to affect, or the way I'm feeling is going to affect the relationship and stop it from going further. I want to have more clarity in what I'm doing day to day, whether it's work, whether it's social interactions, which are very limited for me at the moment. And I think that's also because of how I've been feeling. So before I digress too far, let me take this back to the ego. How does this affect the manly ego as we're talking about? For me, personally, I'm trying to deal with all of this by myself, or I've been trying to deal with it by myself too much, the way I'm feeling, what's bothering me. I feel like a burden when I talk to someone about this kind of thing. You know, I feel vulnerable. I'm a man. I should deal with it by myself. I shouldn't be bothered by these things. And if I am, I just firm it, get tough, deal with it. But with all my reading and listen to audibles and podcasts, I know that's not real. That's not a real way to exist. To suffer by yourself because that's what I'm meant to do as a man, or as my ego tells me I'm meant to do. I know it's not real. And I'm being a hypocrite if I pretend it is, because it's down to practicing what I preach. I talk to my friends about, be real, vent your feelings. I talk to my kids, be real, vent your feelings. And in all fairness to me, I've done a lot better over the last year or the past year with regards to expressing how I feel. But I still feel vulnerable and embarrassed sometimes, and regret doing it. I feel like, I've given away too much of myself. But in reality, that's what I want to do. And in reality, I feel that's how it should be for everyone, and especially men. We should be able to have them conversations with people without wondering, am I going to be vulnerable? Are they going to use it against me? Am I going to be judged? Is my work going to think I'm weak? Is my partner going to think I'm weak? Will my kids think I'm weak? These are things that I would love society to not even question. The dad of the household cries. That's fine. He's human. He's allowed to. The son of the household cries. He's allowed to. Do you get what I mean? I would love life to be that way, where it's a complete open forum of emotions and feelings without judgment because of being a certain sex or whatnot, or being a tough guy. But if you're a tough guy, you can't cry. If you're more of a softer, emotional guy, then that's all right. There shouldn't be them boxes that men have been put into. Because to be a strong man, you have to be able to embrace every feeling, every emotion, when and where it needs to be addressed. Yeah, there might be better circumstances or situations to cry than others, but the point is, we shouldn't have to hold it in. And this is where I think the manly ego needs to be checked. It needs to be reevaluated, and the mold or the trend needs to be broken. And I know this is over decades should I say hundreds of years or thousands of years. I think this needs to be broken and, brought into reality of, we know that everyone goes through something. Even if they hide it or try and hold on to it or try and push it to the back of their mind, we know everyone goes through things, and it should be a free world to express and to look after each other and support each other. And I'm 100% convinced that if we ever get to that kind of stage where, the manly ego isn't how we portray it, isn't this tough guy thing that can't show emotion, I think if we ever get to that stage, I think the world will be amazing. Because we will all learn from each other. We will all appreciate that he's human, no, she's human. And emotions will be something that is part of our everyday life. And they'll be expressed freely without judgment. And then there won't be as much of the mental or psychological challenges that people face. I faced many. There'll be people that face many 1,000,000 times worse than me. But I think there will be a lot less of all that. And talking about that, I don't aim to use loads of statistics and facts within my pages, my posts. I aim for it to be my thoughts, my opinions from stuff that I've read, stuff that I interpret, and I will make it clear. I should have probably made it clearer in the start of this video, but I will do a separate video, which kind of is a disclaimer that I'm not a professional, I'm not a doctor, I'm not an expert. These are my thoughts and opinions, and anyone who's at a stage where life is really, really challenging for them and really, really pushing them into possible dangerous territories, that they need to seek a professional who's been trained over many years to better equip someone with tools and skills and even medicine to help them through these tough times. That's not me. Find that kind of person that will get you out of them real dark pits, them real dark holes. My thoughts and opinions are just from what I've discovered or what I've learned or what I've read or what I'm prepared to try. I will just talk about it in a way that allows you to decide if it's something that you feel may work for you, may not work for you. Regardless, research it, take it further, and see what is the best way for you to deal with whatever there is to deal with in your life, whatever challenges. So as much as this page is manly ego, there'll be many elements that apply to everyone, regardless of your sex or gender or whatnot. But I want this to really be a safe space for men and, teenage boys that are growing into men. I want it to be a safe space for them to realize we are human. We can be as strong as we are physically or mentally, but when we need that safe space, when we need to realize emotions need to be released and whatnot, we can do it, and we can discuss and we can learn and we can work together to make a healthier society. So thank you for listening to me, and I hope you enjoy the future posts and pages and conversations, and I'm excited to see where I can take this manly ego page, site, whatever, social media posts. I'm excited to see where I can take it with your support and your guidance. Thank you.